men are unreliable and they are unpredictable. So you should stay far away from men. Hello there, my name is Dr. Florencia. I'm a licensed psychologist and relationship coach. In today's video, I'll be discussing how we as second generation migrants, first generation migrants, as millennials, Gen Zs, boomers even, how we can take control and overcome our generational trauma. And why this is important to discuss is because trauma informs and shapes how we view relationships, right? How we position ourselves in relationships. So in order for us to have healthier relationship dynamics and a healthier view of what a relationship should look like, we need to overcome trauma. We need to heal from trauma. So I will discuss a few ways that could start that journey. So before I go into detail, subscribe to the channel, okay? I know it's still a new channel, right? Well, unless hopefully it has grown in the future. So hi, if you're in the future, but for now it's still a small channel. So I would really appreciate it if you subscribe and click the notification bell so that you get notifications when I do post new content. So generational trauma is passed down, but it's also sustained if we don't put in effort and energy into healing from the trauma, right? So yes, I encourage everyone to go to therapy and to start thinking about and understanding where your trauma came from. Like, for instance, I've had a client who had migraines and she had health anxiety, and there was a lot going on with her physically, and a lot of her psychological experiences just manifests itself or were compounded by her physical experiences, right? So she was in quite a lot of pain a lot of the time, and in a lot of discomfort, and she became heavily reliant on like medication, for instance. But when we started to like unpack where some of that could have come from, we then came to the understanding that her mother had similar experiences, so also always having migraines and also always relying on medication for every single ailment she had, and also her grandmother had similar, so that is one example of how anxiety and trauma was passed down through generations. Now, in my experience, I don't know, I only know my mother's story, for instance, well, not even in great detail, to be honest with you, but overall, she had incredibly traumatic experiences with men in her, in her formative years, and as a young adult as well. So and I did it from a very young age up until halfway through like my 20s. I had very traumatic experiences with men. So I remember how my mom used to always tell me, like literally try to stomp into my head, that men were dangerous and that men are unreliable and they are unpredictable. So you should stay far away from men. Like, that's literally what she would tell me, like every day, if not every other day. Like, she will find something to prompt her saying that to me from a very young age. And I never understood why. I always thought it was a bit dramatic, and I kind of like, brushed it off or whatever. But by her saying that constantly and putting that in my head constantly, that may have also planted a seed in terms of my perception of men, and my sense of perhaps not having as much power in my interactions with men. So I would have perhaps positioned myself as powerless, so therefore I can be overpowered by men, and that they can pretty much do whatever and say whatever they want to me, and I wouldn't really, give much resistance to that. So essentially what happened here is a generation of a mom feeling, in her experiences of what she went through, her feeling powerless, and therefore kind of like her way of maybe protecting me or preparing me for my life as as a woman in this world. She wanted to instill in me that men are dangerous. And then when I had my own experiences that were very traumatic with men, that then only reinforced the message or the seed that she planted in my head. So although maybe, again, and this is me just assuming because I don't know, but although maybe from her point of view she was trying to protect me, what she may have done is disarmed me from having a sense of autonomy over my body, over sense of control, sense of will, But also it then confirmed the perhaps idea that was instilled in me about, well, men are dangerous. Because I've gone through what I've gone through, so then I think men are perhaps dangerous, and that kept me stuck for a really, really long time. So that is one, example of how my sense of generational trauma was, is maintained. And unfortunately, I don't really know much about my grandmother, but I can imagine that she have gone through something similar, and that she wasn't able to protect my mother. So what else I chose to do to break free from generational trauma is to choose my family. And I mean that in the sense that your friends or people that you care about, they can also become your elected family, if they provide you with the safety and comfort that you need, and you deserve, quite frankly. If that can come from people who do not share your blood, that is okay. I met two wonderful women in two separate workplaces, and two black women, one Ghanaian and one from Trinidad, but she's pretty much Nigerian, let's be fair, but she's from Trinidad, and I formed such close relationships with them, and they became my aunties. I call them my aunties. I still call them my aunties, and we check in with one another. I mean, I live a bit further away now, so unfortunately I don't see them often. And obviously it's just life is gets busy. But I hold them so dear in my heart because they were able to offer me something emotionally that I had not experienced from my immediate family, So I chose them to become, my family. Simple as. And also, I've been really fortunate that I've developed friendship with people who I grew to become really close with. and who I genuinely trust, and I know that they have my back, and they have my best interests at heart. Need to process something, or if I need to discuss something, or if I just want someone to hold space for me, those are the people that I go to. And not necessarily, well, not even that necessarily, like, I don't go to my family for that, because I know that they don't have the capacity to do that for me. So rather than forcing that and then essentially setting myself up to feel disappointed, I go where I know I can find what it is that I'm looking for. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that, that I have to be angry or resentful about it. I definitely was at one point. I most definitely was resentful. But now, as I've gone through my journey and I've discovered what's important to me in life, I came to the realization that I can compartmentalize what it is I need and from who I'm asking it from. I know that my immediate family don't necessarily have the skills, the capacity, or even the experience to provide me with the emotional comfort that I need. And that's, that is what it is, So rather than trying to resist reality or be resentful about reality, I can accept it, choosing to accept it, and to have my needs met, but in different ways or by different people. And with that being said, I also chose to go no contact with my mother for about 5 years ago. And still to this day, she's trying to reach out to me. I've got extended family members trying to, reach out to me on her behalf and try to mediate and, make it really awkward for me sometimes. And I get conversations, about, oh, well, she's your mom at the end of the day, so you should give her a chance. And it kind of like guilt tripped me into choosing myself, essentially, which is quite common. It's quite common in Black communities, especially when religion is involved, and they will use that against you to question your reasoning behind not having contact with a parent. But I know that for me, it was imperative to go no contact with my mother, because I had to save my life. I was fighting for my life, and if I didn't do that, Lord knows where I would be now. Lord knows what my mental state would be now. But I had to shed her off of me in order to move on in my life and give me headspace to focus on my doctorate at the time, my training, and surviving that more than anything as well also. So yeah, I wouldn't have changed it, and I still won't change it. So yeah, or family members or whatever who'll be looking at me crazy, but it is what it is. That is what I need to do for myself. And it's very uncomfortable to have people question why you would stand up for yourself in this way and defy social norms in this way, but it was necessary for me to do. So I encourage all of my clients to do what they need to do to survive, as long as they have the intention of prioritizing their mental health, their safety, and their well-being. That's it then for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was helpful. I hope it was insightful. So I've got a free workbook. It's a gift from me to you that you can download. So the website is called thepowerofpause.info/workbook. But essentially, if you are dating someone or you are in a relationship and you wonder, that behavior that he has displayed recently is a bit questionable, or what's very common as well is, should I text him back? He hasn't texted me back yet. Oh, it's been a few days. I haven't heard from him. I don't know what's going on. Blah, blah, blah. I want you to stop worrying. I want you to stop questioning yourself. Go on ahead, complete the workbook, go through the stages that I guide you through. It's got 4 stages that I will take you through to assess whether their behavior aligns with your values and whether you find their behavior acceptable, whether if it is acceptable for you or not. And yeah, take a screenshot. Let me know how you get on. Let me know what your takeaways are from them, because I'll be really curious to know if it was helpful for you or not, or what you've learned from it, or what insights you had. So yeah, let me know. Either, send me a DM, send me an email. I read everything personally. So yeah, feel free to reach out. And with that, I will end it here. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.